This is the metal block that we make each week in the Focus Cutting Sew Along, hosted by Naomi Clark. It's free to participate, and you can follow her on Instagram. Each week we're given an inspiration, specific things to follow, match. Sometimes they're matching, sometimes they're identifiable motifs. Traditional English paper piecing requires gluing around paper or basting around paper. Then you whip stitch the shapes together with the paper in them, and you can see that's quite a bit of stitching involved. And once you're finished, you're going to need to go back and pull all these papers. So I am using English paper piecing made modern, and you peel the back off, and they're reusable. So I'm going to show you the process, and since it's focus or otherwise called fussy cutting, we are going to find a motif that we want to use for the 1-inch hexagon, and then it's going to be surrounded by half hexagons. So here's your 1-inch hexagon, and these are your half-inch hexagons. So there's 2, 4, 6 of those. So I want to determine what my center will be, what's going to fit nicely in this 1-inch hexagon. We were talking about blocks about memories. I have a wonderful memory of learning to sew at an early age, and so I thought this was great fabric to use. This is Dear Stella. I used to put the templates on the front of the fabric, but came to realize that if I flip it over, position it from the back, then I don't have to move it to the wrong side when I'm ready to sew. So I like this little pin cushion. I think that's really cute. And you can use the light box. Most of the time I can just eye it up, because these little corners here, I don't want them to stick out or be below that. So I'm going to just move this down, and I'm going to stick that down and flip it over and see if I like the placement of that, which I do. The little corners are in, the little pin is still in there, so I'm happy with that. The tools that you use are the self-stick templates, add a quarter ruler, and a rotary cutter. So we're going to just trim this out. You can use a rotating mat. Sometimes it's easier, but sometimes the fabric just gets caught up on them. Turning the fabric is pretty easy to do. So we're going to cut that out. And there we've got our 1-inch hexagon, which we'll add the half-inch hexagons to. So I'm going to take my half-inch hexagon, which is well loved, because you can see I've used it over and over again. And I look at this and I'm like, oh, these are really cute. And I may see if I can just incorporate as many motifs on here as I can around the 6 half hexagons. I think that would be really fun. So these guys, oh, they fit in there too. So this is going to be my center, so I'm considering that. Oh, these pins are really cute too. I think we'll just go for the pins right now. We'll stick it on there, turn it over, and make sure that our pins are centered well. All right, let's trim this one out. Okay, so we've got this one trimmed out. So there's that. Now, I will show you, let's find another set of safety pins on here. Okay, here's another set of safety pins. So if I want to repeat this so I can have the same motif in all of the half hexagons, I can just line it up with what's previously here, like these lines here, this here, go back in, put my ruler on the very edge of the fabric and retrim that one. But since today I'm going to go for different motifs on each of the half hexes, we're not going to fussy cut that again. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out the other 6 so that you don't have to wait through that. And then we'll go to the sewing. I've laid my block out to the side here, where they're going to go, so that I don't pick one up and sew it in the wrong place. So I've got the 1-inch hexagon, and I have the template on the wrong side of the fabric. So I'm going to turn it over, and this guy I want there. So I'm going to put right sides together, line up these corners so you can see half hexagon, and I'm going to turn it over, and I'm going to set the needle down right at that corner, drop the foot, and I'm going to tack, sew to the end of the template, and then I'm going to, I can cut my threads and tack it all in the same. I'm going to open this up, and this guy is the next one to go on. I'm going to flip it over, right sides together, line up my corners, make sure this is nice and this is nice and flat out of there. Flip it over. There we go. And I only need the template on one shape, not both shapes. Drop my needle down, stitch again. Cut my thread. And we're going to open that up. So this is my top piece. Same thing all the ways around. Pick it up, line it up, make sure this guy's laying flat, turn it over, and repeat. And I will add the rest of these pieces so you don't have to watch that, and then I'll come back and show you how the half hex gets sewed together. This last piece, it's not as easy to line up as the rest of them, so sometimes you can just hold it up to the light of your machine and know that these corners are the same. Let's see if you get a better view from back here. So here's this corner. You can fold this down until you're pretty much lined up there and there, or you can just kind of finger press these and see, are you even there? So flip it back over and drop your needle and straight stitch the last one in place. And I have lots of tips that will be coming up in the English Paper Piecing Made Modern class that I'm going to be taping. I don't really need this template on the back anymore. It's just kind of keeping me from bending things around. So I'm going to just take it off and set it aside because I can reuse it many more times. So I'm going to take these guys that the seam allowances are not sewn down. I'm going to just push this guy back and flip these around, line this up, and I've done this a lot, so I'm pretty good at estimating where to drop my needle for the 1/4 inch, and I also have my foot to guide me. So I'm going to just be stitching from that corner to where the other stitches are. And you want to tack at the beginning and the end so that these little pieces are not coming apart. Well, I'll show it to you one more time. So we've opened it up again, get these guys out of the way. I kind of push back the hexagon and flip. You can see they flip freely around. Pull this down because you don't want to be stitching through your seam allowances. So make sure that's pulled down. I'll put it in here, lined up. And this little tool, sometimes these little things flip up. So it's the purple thing. This makes it like a nice little spoon to make sure that they're down. Make sure I'm lined up and drop my needle or foot and stitch again from that end to the other stitches. Tack. And I find it easier to come from the outside in. So I'll complete the other pieces and then we'll go to pressing. All right, we're going to press this so these little guys will flip open and that helps it lay flat. So you press this way and these guys open right up and I give it a little steam. Now this one's going in towards the half hex, so this one goes in towards the half hex, and when you do it in that order, like if I did this, this is not going to open up for me. So do that, and so this side is going out, so this side will go out and then this will go up, and you can see that little guy opens up and some steam. This one went in, so this one's going to go in and this one's going to go down, and hopefully hopefully you can see, and they just open right up. This one's out, so this one's out, and this will go up, and then they open right up. go around and press them all down. And I'm a huge fan of tools, so any new tool I'm always up for, and these have been quite the craze, and they're quilters clappers, and they make a huge difference. So they're absorbing the steam and they're flattening out your block for you, which works really well.